Good afternoon from Raleigh, North Carolina. At least that's when I'm recording it. Who knows when you're watching it? If you're watching it. It's December. It's actually kind of cold right now. And also, I got some pretty bad news. But with that being said, I can't think of a better time to record a YouTube video. Kind of, you know, my way of therapy. So, I want to talk about She-Ra. What on earth would I even know about She-Ra? Okay, first of all, in 2 days I'll be 49. I'll be 49 years old in 2 days. So there you have it. Secondly, I'm African American and I'm a guy, right? Well, this She-Ra that I knew as a child, a good deal of that, I would imagine the boys probably were still watching this. First of all, remember, She-Ra is her real, her everyday, normal incarnation is what Adora, and Adora was what the twin sister of Adam, right? Of He-Man. They had similar properties, she had super strength and, kind of like a sharp, quick wit. It's basically, He-Man and heels. Is if you want to call it that, she really wear heels. But at any rate, so I watched it. And matter of fact, we didn't have cable. I think we may have had cable quickly, but it was like $8 cable. Mom couldn't hold on to the cable bill like that. I think it was like canceled after 1 month. but at any rate, so our pickings were slim, but I remember growing up loving She-Ra. For me it was just like a second He-Man. That Marshall Bravestar, what was that, Filmation type of thing. And I enjoyed it. I loved it. Now, later on, I'm trying to remember, folks, the 20 teens, they came up with another She-Ra, right? I mean, this was She-Ra, Princess of Power, too. Now, this She-Ra seemed to be a bit different. The She-Ra I grew up with was more, slapstick, right? Didn't have a lot of continuity among episodes. People really, I guess they really weren't that much on a quest, as this other one was. They didn't have, I suppose if you want to call it complicated storylines, hey, I guess so. Hordak was just a mean guy in the one that I remember. And this one, it seemed to be more, Hordak seemed to be a bit more complicated. Possibly even, maybe even an anti-villain, perhaps. Not the She-Ra I grew up with. They tried to develop the characters in every way, right? For example, the She-Ra of the 21st century had what? Had a love interest. I think this was like some type of anthropomorphic cat, if I'm not mistaken. When I was growing up, I don't even remember that figure. But at any rate, she had someone that she was interested in, and then she, grew affection, right? This wasn't what I grew up with. This was a completely different thing. It tended to be more complex, and I suppose 21st century audiences more, prefer, that for things to be a bit more complex, storylines, love interest, things of that nature. This is not, what I grew up with. And I'm noticing that in a number of shows, And for me, I much prefer the older one, the more slapstick. I prefer the theater of the absurd. I prefer camp. So, for me, you know, this one didn't resonate as much. And by the way, I honestly just think, in my humble opinion, I think Shira of the 80s, and a few others, they tended to be drawn more representative in what I would think a human being would look like. And this newer one, not so much. Also, I think they tended to draw them closer to children. In this one, in the newer one, the older one, they were grown people. I think they also tried to make accommodations. For example, the beau that I would have known was basically Caucasian. The beau in the 21st century one was more African American, but once again, all very much kid-like. And I don't know, for me, like I said, I much prefer the other one, but I can also see where somebody would say, hey, you know what? How about some storyline? How about having this thing go somewhere? You know, how about that? We're a different crowd. So anyway, folks, I want to do a few others too, but it's good to be back at it. Take care and goodbye.